It was supposed to be just another shift. A young man, full of hope, walked into work, never imagining that by the end of the day, everything would change. Because when power is abused, justice has a way of finding its voice. Marcus Johnson, 24 years old, was a hardworking young black man. He had been at Greenfield Market for almost 3 years, never late, always respectful, always going above and beyond. He wasn't just a cashier. He was the one customers asked for when they had a problem, the one who stayed late to help clean when others rushed out, the one who trained new hires even though he was never given the official title. Marcus had dreams. He wanted to become a manager one day, to finally have a position that reflected the effort he put in. But there was one person standing in the way of that dream. His boss, Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Reynolds, the store manager, was in his mid-40s. He wore arrogance like a suit and carried himself as though the store was his kingdom. He had a sharp tongue and an even sharper eye for tearing people down. Whenever Marcus did well, Mr. Reynolds found a way to twist it. If Marcus stayed late, he'd say, "That's because you're too slow." If Marcus helped a customer, he'd mutter, "That's your job. Don't expect praise." If Marcus showed leadership, Reynolds would sneer, "Don't get ahead of yourself." The breaking point came when a managerial position finally opened up. Marcus applied. He knew he was qualified. He had experience, he had loyalty, and most importantly, he had the respect of nearly every employee and customer. But the day of the interview, Mr. Reynolds sat across the table, smirking. "Marcus," he said, leaning back in his chair, "I'm going to be honest with you. You don't deserve this job. People like you should be happy just having a paycheck. A manager? That's not for you." The words cut like glass. People like you. Marcus knew exactly what he meant. Scene 3. The humiliation. The next day, Marcus found out that the position had been given to someone else, a new hire, barely 2 months in, who just happened to be Reynolds' friend's nephew. That afternoon, in front of other employees, Reynolds mocked Marcus. "See? Not everyone's cut out for leadership. Better stick to the register." The other workers looked down, uncomfortable, but no one spoke up. Marcus felt humiliated, angry, betrayed, but he also felt something stronger, resolve. Scene 4. The turning point. Justice walks in. What Mr. Reynolds didn't know was that the company's regional director, Ms. Parker, had been visiting the store quietly over the past few weeks. She had observed how Marcus treated customers, how employees naturally followed his lead, and how the store's atmosphere changed when Marcus was on shift. She also heard the complaints, quiet whispers from staff, and even customers about how Reynolds treated people, especially Marcus. One evening, Ms. Parker decided to conduct a surprise evaluation. She walked in just as Reynolds was belittling Marcus in front of 2 other workers. "Honestly, Marcus," Reynolds sneered, "you should be grateful I even let you keep this job. A manager? You? Don't make me laugh." Ms. Parker stepped forward. "That's interesting," she said sharply, "because from what I've seen, Marcus is already doing the work of manager, without the title, and without the respect he deserves." The entire room froze. Reynolds' face drained of color. "Ms. Parker, I didn't see you there. I was just—" "You were just what?" she interrupted. "Humiliating one of your best employees? Denying him opportunities because of your own bias? Or maybe misusing your position to push forward someone unqualified while overlooking the people who've earned it?" Marcus stood in shock. For the first time, someone in power was actually standing up for him. Ms. Parker turned to Marcus. "How long have you been with us?" "Almost 3 years, ma'am." "And in that time, have you ever been late?" "No, ma'am." "Ever refused to help, to lead, to step up when needed?" Marcus shook his head. "Exactly what I thought," she said. Then she faced Reynolds. "Pack your things. You're done here." Gasps filled the room. The powerful manager who thought he could control everyone was being stripped of his power in front of them all. As Reynolds stormed out, red-faced and furious, Ms. Parker placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. "We'll be discussing your future with this company, Marcus. From what I see, you should have been in management a long time ago." The other employees gathered around Marcus, clapping him on the back, congratulating him. For the first time in years, he didn't feel small. He felt seen. But just as relief washed over him, Ms. Parker added something unexpected. "Marcus," she said carefully, "there's something you need to know. Reynolds wasn't acting alone. Someone higher up has been protecting him, and they won't be happy about what happened here today." Marcus froze. The victory he thought he'd won might only be the beginning of a much bigger battle. Because sometimes justice reveals enemies you never knew you had. Marcus thought his fight was finally over. The cruel boss was gone, justice had been served, and the path to promotion seemed clear. But what he didn't know was that sometimes the most dangerous battles happen in the shadows of power. The next morning, Marcus walked into Greenfield Market with a sense of pride he hadn't felt in years. Customers greeted him warmly. Employees smiled. And for once, the weight of humiliation wasn't on his shoulders. Ms. Parker, the regional director, called him into her office. "Marcus," she began, "your record speaks for itself. You've shown leadership, integrity, and dedication. I want to put your name forward for the assistant manager position." Marcus's heart leaped. "Thank you, ma'am. I won't let you down." But Ms. Parker's tone shifted. She leaned closer. "I need you to be careful. Reynolds had friends higher up, people who benefit from protecting managers like him. They'll see your promotion as a threat. And Marcus, they'll try to stop you." Later that week, Marcus noticed subtle changes. A few employees, ones who had always been friendly, suddenly grew cold. His schedule was changed without warning. Closing shifts stacked one after another, leaving him exhausted. And worse, rumors began to spread. Whispers that Marcus had lied about Reynolds, that he had played the victim to get sympathy. It didn't make sense until Marcus overheard two supervisors talking in the break room. "Corporate wants to make sure Marcus doesn't get that promotion," one whispered. "Yeah," the other replied. "Regional HQ is sending someone down to review the situation. Word is they're not on Marcus's side." Marcus felt his stomach twist. Reynolds may have been gone, but the real enemy was much bigger. Days later, Marcus was called into a meeting with a corporate representative, Mr. Caldwell, a tall, polished man in his 50s. Caldwell had a smile that never reached his eyes. "Marcus," he said smoothly, "I've been asked to look into the events here. Now, I understand Ms. Parker was impressed with you, but not everyone is convinced." He slid a folder across the table. Inside were false reports, claims that Marcus had been late, that he had argued with customers, even that he had stolen merchandise. Marcus's chest tightened. This is all lies." Caldwell leaned back. Maybe not. But when there's smoke, people assume there's fire. So let me make you an offer. Withdraw your name from promotion process, and we'll forget about all of this. Stay in your lane, keep your job, or risk losing everything. Marcus walked home that night, with the weight of the world pressing on his shoulders. He wanted the promotion, he had earned it, but the system was stacked against him. If he fought, he could lose not just a promotion, but his job. When he got home, his mother noticed his silence. "Baby, what's wrong?" she asked. Marcus explained everything. The lies, the threats, the pressure to stay quiet. His mother took his hand. "Marcus, let me tell you something. They've always tried to silence people like us. But if you back down now, you're not just losing a promotion. You're letting them decide your worth. Don't you ever forget, your work, your integrity, and your voice matter." Tears burned Marcus's eyes. He knew she was right. The next day, Marcus walked into the store with fire in his chest. He requested a meeting with Ms. Parker, Mr. Caldwell, and several employees present. When Caldwell repeated his accusations, Marcus didn't flinch. "I've given this company 3 years of my life," Marcus said firmly. "I've been loyal, hardworking, and honest. And these lies, they're not just an attack on me. They're an attack on every employee who deserves fairness. If corporate wants to fire me for doing the right thing, then let them, but I won't be silent. Not anymore." The room went silent. Employees shifted uncomfortably, but many nodded in quiet support. Ms. Parker's eyes burned with pride. Caldwell's smile cracked. "You're making a mistake, young man." "No," Marcus replied. The mistake is thinking you can keep people like me down forever. Caldwell leaned forward, his voice dropping. You think Reynolds was bad? He was nothing. The people protecting him. People in this company's highest offices. They don't care about truth, Marcus. They care about power. And they'll come for you next. Ms. Parker cut in, her voice sharp. Enough. I won't let this go unchallenged. If corporate wants a war over this, then so be it. But Marcus couldn't shake Caldwell's warning. That night, Marcus received an anonymous email. The subject line read, "Watch your back." Attached was a document, a list of names, dates, and payments. Proof of corruption reaching far higher than Reynolds, and Marcus's name was on the list. Marcus's hands trembled. He wasn't just fighting for a promotion anymore. He was caught in a battle that could take down an entire system. And someone powerful wanted him silenced. Will you like to subscribe for part 2?